Did you know that 6 to 7 out of 10 people diagnosed with cancer are over the age of 65? This is no coincidence. As we age, our bodies not only slow down, but also become more vulnerable to silent enemies, the most dangerous of which is cancer. But what is even more worrying is that most seniors do not realize that they are on the verge of a dangerous disease until it is too late. Why is this? Because the initial symptoms of cancer in the elderly are often very vague. Sometimes just a mild back pain, a dark spot on the skin, or a feeling of persistent fatigue. All of these signs are easily overlooked with the thought, it must be due to old age. Subjectivity, lack of understanding, or simply being afraid to go to the doctor have caused millions of people each year to discover cancer at a late stage, when it has metastasized, when all treatment options have become limited, expensive, and painful. Today's video not only explains the scientific reasons why cancer risk increases dramatically after age 65, but also shares important facts that few older adults or caregivers pay attention to. If you are entering retirement age or have aging parents, don't take your eyes off this video, because the information you are about to hear could be the thing that helps detect cancer early or save the life of you or your loved one. 1. Why does aging increase the risk of cancer? Many people often wonder, why does the risk of cancer skyrocket when we turn 65? Is aging really the cause? The answer is, aging is not a direct cause of cancer, but it is one of the biggest risk factors that makes the body more susceptible to developing cancer cells, and especially makes detection and treatment more difficult. First, aging is the result of the accumulation of cell damage over time. Throughout our lives, our bodies continually produce billions of new cells to replace old ones that die. This process happens over and over again, and each time, copies of our DNA are copied. However, over time, this copying process is not as accurate as it was when we were younger. Small errors in our DNA, called mutations, begin to accumulate. Some mutations are harmless, but when they occur in genes that control cell growth, they can cause cells to grow uncontrollably. And this is when cancer begins. Second, our immune systems naturally decline as we age. When we are young, our immune system acts as a formidable barrier, always ready to detect and destroy abnormal cells, including newly formed cancer cells. But after the age of 65, this mechanism becomes less effective. Cancer cells can escape the immune system more easily, survive longer, and eventually form malignant tumors. That is why older people are not only more susceptible to cancer, but also have a higher risk of cancer progression if not detected early. In addition, old age is often accompanied by underlying diseases, such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and high blood pressure. These diseases not only weaken the body, but also cause cancer symptoms to be covered up or easily confused. For example, fatigue caused by cancer can be considered a consequence of heart disease. Difficulty urinating due to prostate cancer can be thought to be benign prostatic hyperplasia, or skin changes can be overlooked because they are thought to be due to aging. This overlap is one of the reasons why cancer in the elderly is often detected late, when it is already in an advanced stage. Another factor that cannot be ignored is lifestyle over time. If a person has smoked for 30 to 40 years, or is exposed to the sun without protecting their skin, or has a diet lacking in fruits and vegetables, and is sedentary, these negative effects will accumulate and manifest themselves as they age. Researchers estimate that up to 60% of cancer cases are related to lifestyle factors, and most of these effects only bloom after the age of 60. Finally, it is impossible not to mention psychology and perception. Elderly people sometimes tend to accept pain and unusual suffering because they think it is the law of aging. Many people do not want to go to the doctor because they are afraid of discovering the disease, afraid of the cost, or simply having lived long enough. However, it is this subjectivity that is the reason why the disease is discovered at the final stage, when the opportunity for effective treatment has passed. Therefore, understanding that age is a risk factor does not mean that we are powerless against cancer. On the contrary, recognizing that the body is entering its most sensitive period is an opportunity to proactively monitor, screen, and intervene promptly. Turning 65 does not mean losing the opportunity to live a healthy life, but it is a time when we need to be more vigilant, listen to our bodies more, and act earlier to preserve our lives. Part 2. The most common cancers in people over 65, and why you shouldn't ignore them. When a person turns 65, the risk of cancer doesn't just increase statistically, it also becomes more concentrated in certain types. In the United States, according to data from the National Cancer Institute, the majority of new cancer cases each year occur in people 65 and older. But it's not just the numbers that are important. The most common cancers in older people can all be caught early, if the person or their caregiver is alert to specific signs. So what are the cancers that people over 65 need to be especially wary of? First up is lung cancer, the leading cause of cancer death in both men and women. Most people diagnosed with lung cancer are 65 or older, with the average age at diagnosis being 70. Even non-smokers can still get lung cancer due to a history of exposure to secondhand smoke, air pollution, or toxic substances while working. The danger is that the initial symptoms are often very mild, easily mistaken for pneumonia, asthma, or heart failure. Persistent cough, coughing up blood, chest pain, shortness of breath, or unexplained fatigue. In the elderly, these signs are easily overlooked or misdiagnosed, leading to late detection of the disease. Therefore, for people with a history of smoking or living in a polluted environment, an annual low-dose CT scan of the lungs can help detect it early and save lives. The second is colorectal cancer, the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. About 90% of colon cancer cases occur in people over 50 years old, and the rate increases with age. For older adults, symptoms such as changes in bowel habits, bloody stools, dull abdominal pain, or unexplained weight loss are often mistaken for common digestive disorders, such as constipation or irritable bowel syndrome. However, this is a dangerous thing to ignore. Fortunately, colon cancer is slow-growing, and it is possible to detect it early through regular colonoscopies or fecal occult blood tests, both of which are covered by Medicare for people over age 65. Third is prostate cancer, which is most common in older men. Most cases are detected after age 65, and most develop silently over a long period of time. Some men have no symptoms at all, while others may experience difficulty urinating, a weak urine stream, frequent urination at night, or pelvic pain. These are symptoms that are often considered normal in old age. However, with a blood PSA test and regular prostate exams, doctors can detect it early and classify its severity. Many cases of prostate cancer in older men are slow-growing and require only observation, but there are also highly malignant cases that require immediate intervention. One type of cancer that is increasingly common in older men is skin cancer, especially melanoma. People over 65 account for a high proportion of skin cancer diagnoses, especially if they have a history of extensive sun exposure in the past. Unusual moles, spots that change color, or sores that don't heal are important signs. For older people with fair skin who live in sunny areas, like Florida, California, Texas, the risk is significantly higher. Regular full-body skin checks, either by yourself or with a dermatologist, are a simple and highly effective way to detect skin cancer early. Finally, breast cancer in older women is a must. Many people think that only young women get this disease, but in fact, the risk of breast cancer increases steadily with age, with nearly half of all breast cancers being detected in women over 60. Monthly breast self-exams, regular mammograms, and paying attention to symptoms, such as palpable lumps, changes in breast size, or nipple discharge are key to early detection, even in women who have been postmenopausal for many years. In short, cancer in older people is not an inevitable death sentence, but a challenge that can be overcome if detected early. Knowing that you are in the risk group, understanding the common types of cancer, and taking timely action, that is the simplest way to proactively and fully protect your old age life. 3. Symptoms that are easily overlooked cause cancer to progress silently in the elderly. One of the biggest reasons why cancer in the elderly is often detected late is because the initial symptoms are often vague, unclear, and easily confused with normal manifestations of old age or other chronic diseases. This confusion has caused many people to miss the golden period for early detection of cancer, causing the disease to develop silently until it has metastasized, making treatment difficult. So, what are the important signs that need to be taken seriously, especially for people over 65? First, prolonged fatigue of unknown cause is one of the important signals, but is often overlooked. Older people often think that fatigue is due to old age, lack of sleep, poor diet, or chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes. But if exhaustion occurs continuously, does not improve despite adequate rest, and has no obvious cause, then you need to be alert. Fatigue is a common symptom in many types of cancer, especially leukemia, liver, lung, and colorectal cancers. It is not normal fatigue, but a feeling of exhaustion, lack of energy, and inability to perform daily activities as before. Another easily forgotten sign is unintentional weight loss. For older people, losing a few pounds is sometimes considered normal or even commendable. However, if an older person loses 5 to 10% of their body weight within a few months without a clear diet or lifestyle change, it is a very serious warning sign. Unexplained weight loss is one of the earliest signs of many cancers, including stomach, lung, pancreatic, esophageal, and even metastatic cancers. This is not healthy weight loss, but rather the result of the body's abnormal energy expenditure due to tumor growth. Another symptom that is often overlooked is persistent digestive disorders, such as bloating, heartburn, changes in bowel habits, diarrhea, or constipation. Many people think this is a result of aging, diet, or medications. But if these symptoms are occurring, last for more than 2 weeks, and do not respond to dietary adjustments or conventional treatment, then you should see a doctor to rule out colorectal, stomach, or liver cancer. Skin changes are also an overlooked sign, especially for people who live in sunny areas or have fair skin. A small spot, a new mole, or a sore that doesn't heal for weeks can be a sign of skin cancer, including melanoma, the most dangerous type of skin cancer. Older people often think of skin changes as normal aging, but this is why skin cancer in older people is often overlooked until it is spread. Abnormal urination is another sign that shouldn't be overlooked, especially in men. Symptoms such as frequent urination, urgency, weak urine stream, or blood in the urine can be symptoms of prostate or bladder cancer. In fact, many older men with prostate cancer mistake it for benign prostatic hyperplasia and don't seek medical attention until the disease is more advanced. In addition, persistent pain of unknown origin, especially in the back, bones, chest, or lower abdomen, is also an important sign. Many older people live with pain due to arthritis or degeneration, so it is easy to ignore the pain caused by cancer. For example, bone cancer, metastatic cancer, or pancreatic cancer. In short, when we turn 65, the body can send out many small signals to warn. But if we are subjective, thinking that all symptoms are normal in old age, then that is when cancer has the opportunity to develop silently. To protect yourself or your loved ones, it is important not to ignore any unusual changes in the body, no matter how small, and to proactively check with a doctor when you see something unusual. Part 4. How can lifestyle help prevent cancer in the elderly? One of the important but often underestimated things is the role of lifestyle in preventing cancer in the elderly. Many people over 65 often think that it is too late to change, that the body has worn out over time, so that healthy living is no longer effective. But science has proven the opposite. It is during old age that positive changes in lifestyle can have a significant impact, helping to prevent the formation and progression of cancer cells, while improving the quality of life and prolonging life. The important thing is that you do not need to do everything at once, but just take small, sustainable steps, and the results will come. First, a reasonable diet is the most important foundation. For older people, eating right not only helps maintain a healthy weight, but also provides essential nutrients to strengthen the immune system and fight the formation of cancer cells. Many studies in the U.S. show that a diet rich in green vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and good fats from fish, nuts, and olive oil can reduce the risk of common cancers such as colon, prostate, and breast. At the same time, it is necessary to limit processed foods, red meat, refined sugar, and fried foods, factors related to chronic inflammation and cancer. For older people, eating needs to be adjusted to suit their digestive capacity, but that does not mean skipping meals or eating carelessly. Instead of cutting back, choose smart foods. For example, replace beef with salmon, replace soft drinks with green tea, replace cookies with fresh fruit. These changes are small but have a strong impact. Second, maintaining regular exercise is a simple but very effective way to prevent cancer. Many seniors think that exercise is for young people, but in fact, just walking 30 minutes a day or participating in gentle yoga classes, aerobics suitable for seniors, can also help reduce the risk of breast, colon, and lung cancer. Exercise helps improve blood circulation, strengthen the immune system, control weight, and reduce inflammation, factors associated with cancer. More importantly, exercise also improves mood, reduces anxiety, helps seniors feel optimistic, and have better control over their health. An indispensable factor is getting enough sleep and managing stress. Many seniors have difficulty sleeping. They sleep little, wake up many times, and often feel unrefreshed during the day. However, sleep is when the body repairs cells and restores the immune system. Insufficient sleep reduces the ability to detect and destroy abnormal cells, increases the risk of inflammation and metabolic problems, indirectly contributing to the formation of cancer. Similarly, chronic stress, whether due to loneliness, loss of a loved one, or anxiety about illness, also causes high levels of the hormone cortisol, which negatively affects the immune system and cell function. Therefore, taking care of your mental health by maintaining social relationships, meditating, participating in community activities, or simply talking to loved ones is also an important part of cancer prevention. Don't forget to control risk factors such as smoking, alcohol, and excessive sun exposure. If you have quit smoking after many years, even at age 70, there are still significant benefits. Similarly, reducing the amount of alcohol you drink each week also reduces the risk of liver, mouth, and esophageal cancers. For sunlight, using sunscreen, wearing a wide-brimmed hat, and avoiding peak hours, seemingly simple, are the most effective ways to prevent skin cancer in the elderly. Don't forget to control risk factors such as smoking, drinking alcohol, and excessive sun exposure. If you have quit smoking after many years, even at age 70, there are still clear benefits. Similarly, reducing the amount of alcohol consumed each week also helps reduce the risk of liver, mouth, and esophageal cancers. For sunlight, using sunscreen, wearing a wide-brimmed hat, and avoiding peak hours, seemingly simple, are the most effective ways to prevent skin cancer in the elderly. Part 5. The importance of regular cancer screening in the elderly. One of the key factors in reducing the burden of cancer in the elderly, both in terms of health and finances, is regular screening. However, the reality in the U.S. shows that many elderly people still do not fully access screening programs or skip important tests because of subjectivity, fear, lack of information, or the thought that, when you are old, what is there to worry about? This is a misconception that can lead to serious consequences. Screening is not to create more anxiety, but to help the elderly detect abnormal changes in the body early, when the disease is still at a stage that is easy to treat and the chance of survival is many times higher than when detected late. In fact, many common cancers in the elderly can be detected early through simple and inexpensive tests. For example, a colonoscopy can detect and remove polyps, benign growths that can develop into colorectal cancer if left untreated. This is recommended for people aged 45 to 75, but if you are over 75 and in good health, your doctor may still recommend continued screening. Meanwhile, the PSA blood test and prostate exam are important tools for early detection of prostate cancer in men aged 55 and older. Similarly, mammography is recommended for women aged 50 to 74, every 1 to 2 years, to detect breast cancer even if they do not have symptoms. In addition, for people who have smoked for many years, an annual low-dose CT scan of the lungs is an extremely effective method for early detection of lung cancer, the type of cancer that has the highest mortality rate if detected late. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, USPSTF, recommends that men and women ages 50 to 80 with a history of smoking should be screened using this method every year. Best of all, Medicare now covers all of these screening tests, as long as you meet age and risk criteria, which eliminates a financial barrier for seniors. Screening also includes a full-body skin exam to check for skin cancer, especially for those with fair skin, who live in sunny areas, or who have a history of prolonged sun exposure. Many older Americans spent decades in the sun when they were younger without sunscreen, and that increases their risk of developing melanoma later in life. A full-body exam by a dermatologist once a year can help detect abnormalities early, allowing for timely treatment. However, screening is only effective when seniors understand and take the initiative to do it. Don't wait until you have obvious symptoms to see a doctor. By then the disease is often in its late stages. Early diagnosis increases the chance of successful treatment, reduces medical costs, and reduces hospital stays. Research from the American Cancer Society shows that people who are screened regularly have a 5-year survival rate many times higher than those who only detect the disease when symptoms are obvious. In addition, screening also helps reduce anxiety. It may sound contradictory, but many people feel more secure after regular health checkups because they know they are in good control of their health. On the contrary, delaying or avoiding health checkups prolongs psychological insecurity and can easily lead to late detection when all treatment options are more difficult. In short, in old age, taking care of your health is not only a responsibility to yourself, but also a gift for your loved ones. Regular cancer screening isn't a good idea. It's a must if you want to live a healthy, active, and independent life into your later years. Start today and ask your doctor about the tests that are appropriate for your age and personal history. Early detection can mean the difference between continuing to live a fulfilling life and battling the disease when it's too late. Cancer is not a death sentence, especially when detected early and properly prevented. But sadly, most seniors in the United States only find out about the disease in its late stages, when all treatment options have been exhausted. Why? Because the early signs are too subtle. Because many people mistake cancer symptoms for normal signs of aging. Because of fear of cost, fear of knowing the truth, or simply procrastination. But today, you know, after age 65, the risk of cancer skyrockets, not because of fate, but because of aging, weakened immune systems, and most importantly, lack of timely action. Remember, you are not alone. The U.S. health system, with Medicare, free screening programs, family doctors, and modern technology, is ready to accompany you. You just need to be proactive. Start by listening to your body, paying attention to small changes, living healthier every day, and especially scheduling regular cancer screenings. This is not only a way to protect your health, but also a way to show love to your children, your grandchildren, and your own life. Don't wait until it's too late. Health is precious, and cancer spares no one. But if detected early, you can win. And you deserve to live well and enjoy life, even after 65.